Hello and welcome to Current Issues with me, Tarun. What does Modi government's big bang reform of opening up foreign direct investment in 15 sectors mean for the economy? With FDI norms being relaxed in defense sector up to 100%, also in pharmaceuticals, civil aviation, broadcast carriage services, animal husbandry and trading including through e-commerce, and in respect of food products manufactured in India. The government has also decided to relax local sourcing norms for companies up to 3 years so that companies like Apple and others can set up manufacturing plants in India. The government has taken this move with objective of providing major impetus to employment and job creation. We will discuss this issue today with BJP spokesperson Gopal Krishna Agarwal, Congress spokesperson Mohammad Khan and senior journalist Ashutosh Mishra. But first, have a look at this story on the subject.
The government on Monday radically liberalized the FDI policy with the objective of boosting employment in the country. The decision was taken at a high-level meeting chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In civil aviation sector, the government has decided to permit 100% FDI under automatic route in brownfield airport projects. In defense sector, the government has done away with the condition of access to state-of-art technology. In the pharma sector, the government has decided to permit up to 74% FDI under automatic route in brownfield pharmaceuticals, and government approval route beyond 74% will continue.
The Prime Minister's intention to make India a manufacturing hub, and manufacturing hub not just to cater to Indian demand, be it in the defense sector where a huge amount is spent on our defense requirement. So it has been an exercise where we have made sure that the FDI inflows are given a clear direction with an objective of Make in India, focus on creating jobs and ensuring that India becomes a manufacturing hub.
Following these changes, the country will become the most open economy in the world for FDI. Most of the sectors would be under automatic approval route, barring a small negative list. But opposition is calling this a misleading step by the government.
कोई नया तरीका है सरकार का लोगों को प्रभावित करने का, वैसे उन्हें ना FDI की जरूरत है ना किसी चीज की।
ये जो किया गया है ये गलत है देश के, ना देश की अर्थव्यवस्था के हित में है, न देश की जनता के हित में है।
The opposition may be criticizing it, but it cannot be denied that the step will give impetus to the economy. Team News World India.
So Gopal Krishna Agarwal of the BJP, today is your day. Prime Minister Modi has taken the decision of opening up sectors, and I think the government is finally walking the talk on the issues like job generation and increasing manufacturing in the country, isn't it?
Yes, we as a party welcome these decisions. These are the landmark decisions which will help in job creation, so make the Make in India more successful, and at the same time help in the defense procurement issues that were plaguing the defense sector. And we were dependent on in defense sector to international suppliers who were taking us for ride with regard to corruption and various issues, and ultimately we had all to depend on international supplies which were not coming at a critical time. There was shortage of defense supplies on every segment. So therefore we may move towards by this opening up we will move towards self-sufficient, self-reliance in the defense sector. At the same time we can help in export, also go for export, help in ancillary unit, create manufacturing facility in the India, and help in the Make in India project and increase the manufacturing sector's contribution to GDP. With regard to pharmaceutical companies, we have seen that our pharmaceutical companies are supplying to third world countries like Africa and so many countries, and even they have established base in US and UK and European countries. They were moving towards multinational structure. This will help help those pharmaceutical companies to truly get into the multinational mode and move around in the international market. Similarly, aviation, we have seen that the 2-3 days back government came out with a landmark aviation policy which liberalized the domestic aviation industries, and at the same time focused on developing connectivity to remote areas by putting up identifying more than 350 cities or centers where aviation industries can civil aviation connectivity can be given. So, all these three important sectors with FDI and technology commitment will help in manufacturing sector and will help in job creation, will help already boost India's economy, as the PM has said that we have become one of the most liberalized economy in the world. At the same time, we are the fastest growing economy in the world. We are in a very good position with regard to currency stabilize. Our currency is very stable. We have a very large foreign exchange reserves. The world is looking towards India for investment, and it wants to invest into India, and therefore, our economy is well set to grow at a double digit figure, and therefore, along with economic development, we will create more jobs. We will create the successful Make in India.
I'll allow Congress to also put in its opinion now. Mohammad Khan, the Congress must be happy today because you also claim credit for initiating liberalization in the country way back in the 90s, 1991. And BJP is also walking on the same path and fully liberalized now, in a sense that FDI can come in more easily. So I think you in a sense would be very happy today, isn't it?
Tarun, this policy bears no resemblance to ours. First of all, it is a grotesque version of what we had envisaged. I was just listening to what Gopal Krishna ji was saying, and with the greatest of respect for him personally, I would like to say that I disagree with everything that he has said. We have been reading the statements being put out by their ministers and in the press all day, and these are just misleading buzzwords. I will give them credit for timing this announcement well, because they knew they had to take the pressure of Raghuram Rajan's exit and somehow prevent the markets from falling, so they timed it very well. But the substance of the announcements is very poor. I'll tell you why, Tarun. There are three areas where we have problems. First is, you have greatly undermined the nation's defense preparedness by agreeing to opening it up for 100% FDI investment through automatic route. तरुण, अगर आपको याद होगा जो कांग्रेस वाली पॉलिसी थी यूपीए के दौरान, उसमें होता था 49% से अधिक अगर कोई भी वो FDI होना होता था, तो you needed the approval of the cabinet committee on security, and there was a reason for this. Forget the other sectors. In this sector, where your nation's defense is at stake and national secrets are at stake, you cannot have an open-ended policy कि जो दिल चाहे आए और जो दिल चाहे मैन्युफैक्चर करे. दूसरी बात, ये लोग बात करते हैं मेक इन इंडिया की. You and I have been hearing make in India for the last 2 years. It is the trump card of this government, the poster boy of this government's reform agenda, right? Suddenly you've said that we'll now start outsourcing the development of our weapons and our defense equipment to foreign parties and let them set up base in India. How does this affect employment? And how does this impact your Make in India policy? That's, I mean, the two to my mind, मेरी समझ में तो दोनों के दोनों contradictory लग रहे हैं. There seems to be a conflict in them. Okay. Third, Tarun, explain to me, will someone please explain to me why no consultation with any of the opposing parties or the public at large happened? आपको याद है जब हमारी FDI policy बन रही थी, you remember multi-brand retail, IKEA and everything? Yes, it was made available to the public at large and everybody could see and comment on it. These guys just announced it yesterday and we are supposed to come to terms with it in 24 hours. There is absolutely no consultation when it comes to this government.
I'll allow BJP to rebut, but first I'll go to Ashutosh Mishra for a very third party opinion. He's a senior journalist. Let us listen what he thinks of the government's move.
While any FDI is welcome, but what we are seeing is that they talk about Make in India.
Yes.
But if we see the money that has come over the last 2 years, in 2015-16, 41% of the FDI that came went into computer, hardware, software and trading.
Okay.
Manufacturing got less than 15%.
Okay.
So where is this Make in India? I would like to ask them, because we keep talking about how it will create jobs, but where are the jobs?
But when we talk of this particular decision, what do you have to say?
Same thing. If you have to first clean up things as in terms of labor laws, why will they come and invest money in India When they have problem, when it comes to infrastructure, when you have to get land, there is problem, and whatever they say is money is welcome. But why are they investing in India? They are investing in India because we are the fastest growing economy.
Yes.
So they are coming here as businessmen.
Yes.
And if they don't get the returns, no businessman will invest money
Yes.
in your country.
Yes.
So all this talk about Make in India getting a boost is welcome, it's good. We need the money, but please show us how it's going to be done.
Good point. I'll ask Gopal Krishna Agarwal, if you heard what Ashutosh says, do you want to come in about labour reforms, about land reforms, and of the point that the Congress party raised?
Yes, I want to tell one thing is Make in India or ease of doing business is not an end that this will end at this point of time. Now something new. Make in India and ease of doing business is a continuous process, and whatever has been done is the base foundation based on which the new decisions are being taken. Ultimately, if we have got an FDI of $55 billion in 15-16 in comparison to $36 billion in 13-14, that means that there is a growing confidence on Indian economy or the world over without even opening FDI when so much of investment is coming. So this is ultimately we are opening FDI on our own terms, when our requirement of capital is there, when our requirement of technology is there, which are the sector which require foreign investment. That way the whole thought process is going along with the whole basic foundation. And when when Congress spokesperson says that it has to do with Mr. Rajan said there is nothing to do with that, because this decision opening up FDI is independent of what yesterday was the statement of Mr. Rajan was, because you cannot we have come out with an aviation policy 2-3 days back. Without that aviation policy you cannot open the FDI today. So ultimately defense sector, we are talking of opening up a defense sector from 1 year, and we are preparing. We have fought the crony capitalism, we have fought the all the corruption cases which were which infiltrated in our defense procurement policy. Now there is a transparent defense procurement policy in place. We have put the cases, whether it is Augusta, Westland, all these issues are behind us. We are taken strong action against those. So ultimately, if that infrastructure is not there, if the foundation is not there, with regard to even infrastructure in the roads, transport, everything, environmental clearances, rail connectivity, everywhere the government has put up the foundation in these 2 years, where there is a perception around the whole world that India means business. India now the leadership, India has a leadership which believes in taking decisions and which believes in action. Otherwise these talks were there in UPA, we have not seen, the economy was going in doldrums. So now that change is there, that perception has to precede these decisions. Otherwise you open up FDI, no FDI will come, what will happen? Only opening up FDI is not sufficient for bringing investment. The whole infrastructure and foundation has been done, and now this will help into boost. There is a sequence of events
Gopal
where
Krishna,
the economy is moving.
Gopal Krishna, you remain positive of the government step taken in FDI. I'll go across to the Congress spokesperson. Do you agree with the contention of Gopal that a base has been laid by opening up and the government is parallelly doing other things? Do you agree with this statement?
Absolutely not. Tarun, we have constantly been saying that the BJP has now come to stand for the Bharatiya Jumla Party. ये जुमले सुनते सुनते 2 साल हो गए. अभी ये इनकी जो propaganda machinery है, it's excellent. It's without a doubt the most outstanding propaganda machinery we've seen. मगर ज़मीन पे you and I both know, everyone knows that there has been no job creation. Their growth, which they have been touting across the world, has been criticized as a jobless growth. Second of all, this policy, these announcements are very great. Announce that we've allowed FDI in retail and FDI in pharma and FDI in civil aviation. But what do these things actually mean? You cannot have poorly thought out policies, because poorly thought out policies do more damage. Tarun, can I tell you something interesting? We also allowed FDI in multi-brand retail. You remember IKEA? I was just making that point earlier.
Yes.
When we allowed it, we made it available to the public, and the public all gave their comments on it, saying no, you shouldn't do it by executive action, it should be a law. These people opposed it. On 5th December 2012, Modi ji came out with a tweet. He was the then Chief Minister of Gujarat, and he opposed it. But we did one thing after public consultation. We included a provision to say that 30% of whatever you source as material for your product has to come from MSMEs, medium and small scale enterprises.
But good point made by you, but I have a question.
Provision.
Mohammed, I'll interject.
Nothing of this sort.
I'll take the liberty to interject. The 30% sourcing norms have been done away with, but because companies like Apple, they demanded that if they want to set up manufacturing plants in India, they want these norms to go away, because some equipments in the products that companies like Apple make, like phones, it has to be imported, isn't it?
Can I ask you something? Tarun, can I ask you something? I know exactly, you're right, the timing is very suspect. Tim ko kaya mulaqat hui unki Modi ji se aur ekdam se ye policy ho gayi, relaxations aa gaye. But may I ask you, has Modi ji been elected by the people of India or by the employees of Apple? He has his
but it's not only applicable to Apple, it would be as to all other companies. I'll in fact allow Gopal to come in at this moment, Mohammed, because I am not speaking on anybody's behalf. It's Gopal who will answer. Gopal, go ahead and make your point on the 30% norm doing away with.
That is only been done away with single brand retail, and you do not consider Apple as a crony capitalist. It's a company which is respected, and if it investment will come to India, and if it sets up manufacturing facility, who will be benefited? Our economy will be benefited, our people will be benefited. If Apple products are not manufactured in India, still people are buying Apple products. So what is better? Open up and allow them to set up a manufacturing facility into India and help into creation of jobs and cater to the local demand, or import them and give the money.
Point allowed. I see Ashutosh wanting to come in at this moment, Gopal.
Facility.
Gopalji.
Mohammed, just wait for a bit. Let Ashutosh come in and then you can interject.
Those conditions are still there of domestic procurement.
Since we are talking about Apple, they have been manufacturing in China. And if we see what is happening there, the jobs are being lost there. They are taking to robotization. So why do we expect other companies to come here and give jobs to our people? Why will they just not take the cheaper labor, use robots, and they will have all the fun at our expense?
No, but Ashutosh, the end result is unless companies set up manufacturing units, how will employment be generated? Isn't it?
But we have to have that balance, that how much MSMEs we were talking about. Now, if there is an MSME, the chances of there being a robotization and more people getting jobs is higher than, let's say, an Apple factory.
Yes.
Because we are talking about Apple, and how many people in India in any case use Apple?
No, but Apple is just an example. There are many companies who will use this provision, not only Apple.
Yeah. But how many, can we, there is no other high profile company that we are talking about right now. The same thing happens in defense. Now, when we were procuring, there was always a clause of transfer of technology.
Yes.
What's going to happen here? When they start manufacturing here, are they going to transfer technology? Are we going to gain that? Or are we going just to be...
Okay, point taken. I'll allow Gopal to come in. Gopal, many points made. What do you like to say? Yes, Gopal.
What I want to tell is, you have to talk not only of alone Apple, but you talk of defense. How many ancillary units will come up? How many alternative availability manufacturing products will come up in India? We will be less dependent on international money. As you are saying that there has to be a trade-off between allowing procurement from domestic place or set up a manufacturing hub in India. Similarly, you have to have a trade-off between hot money. You are allowing FII to invest and buy the company's shares in the capital market, and you are working around not allowing FDI in manufacturing or infrastructure or pharmaceutical. What is this dichotomy that we are working around? We should have a trade-off in everything. You have to see in the larger perspective. At present juncture, is opening up FDI better for our defense sector? I say it is better, because it will help into manufacturing sector, make in India. It will help into defense procurement, less dependence on international companies. and it will help into ancillary unit. Even we can generate with technology, export also. We have been exporting our NASA and space technology is helping us to export in this sector. Similarly, pharmaceutical will be benefited from this, and similarly other sectors will be benefited. So at this point of time, I think FDI is beneficial to our domestic industry. Even without FDI, you see we are getting so much of FDI already. So that means that people are investing, that shows that people are having confidence, and even our confidence has also come up. Now we are not a weak economy, we are the fastest growing economy, we are looking towards 10% growth, we are having largest reserves. So all this, we have a best fiscal consolidation, our inflation is controlled. So all these factors help into our confidence.
Mohammed,
so
one thing you can
see
rebut Gopal Mohammed, but one thing I also want to ask you, Mohammed, if you see India needs to increase its manufacturing from roughly about 15.5 to 16% of GDP to about at least 30% of GDP. China did much more, but India should do at least this much, is what many economists also say. Don't you think that when your UPA government was in power, they also talked of liberalization? BJP has done the same. It has liberalized the economy further by opening up FDI. At least on this count, you should welcome them, isn't it?
Tarun, I don't think you will find anyone who will disagree with the idea that the economy needs to be opened up. The economy does need to be opened up, and आज जिस बुनियाद पे ये लोग इमारतें खड़ी कर रहे हैं, वो बुनियाद हम ही लोगों ने ही ले की थी. अगर आपको द फाउंडेशन ऑफ देयर करंट पॉलिसीज, वेदर इट बी एफडीआई or anything else, has been laid, their NSG and MTCR membership has been laid by the UPA governments that preceded it. Having said that, you cannot, in the name of opening up your economy, do so in a manner that is completely devoid of all thought. You cannot do so in sectors. देखिए आपको याद होगा, we started with multi-brand retail. Look, sectors like pharmaceuticals and defense, they are very sensitive, boss. Pharmaceuticals particularly, the West has been trying very hard to get a foothold in the Indian pharmaceutical sector, because India is the only country where cheap drugs for cancer, diabetes, tuberculosis are produced at throwaway prices in generic versions. If you allow 100% FDI in pharma, these people will come out, eliminate the competition, enter into exclusivity and non-compete agreements and finish off the industry. It has happened the world over. And why are we in such a hurry? Ke boss, let's align our policy with that of the United States. We have always been cautious about our engagement with the United States. We've moved forward, but we've been cautious. ये लोग तो भागे जा रहे हैं कि भैया किसी ना किसी तरीके से कोई रिश्ता बना ले, no matter at what cost. Let us sacrifice whatever safeguards we have.
I'll allow.
Defense and pharmaceuticals, everyone will agree, cannot be done in a blanket manner.
I'll allow Ashutosh to come in, and then Gopal can rebut.
Just like
Ashutosh.
we did under UPA too.
And just talking about pharma, if you see in the last few years, whatever has happened, the foreign companies have bought Indian companies, they have taken over. How has that benefited India?
Exactly.
Have we got all those ANDAs? No, we haven't. Indian companies which are still India owned are now going and buying companies abroad, even in US. So why not encourage our own companies rather than letting them in a sector where we are doing well? In pharma, India is supposed to grow at 3 times the global rate. So that's why they are investing. And where will they create jobs there? I don't see that happening.
Gopal, I also am feeling that today, if you see, whenever the UPA is in power, it will support certain things, but in opposition it will oppose that. Even the BJP, when it comes to power, it will open up, but that time Congress will oppose. Is it only politicking? Because UPA, when it tried to open, you criticized. No, but now you are opening up. Now today Congress criticizes, isn't it?
No, you have to understand that when you are opening up an economy with the crony capitalism and nexus of bureaucrats, politicians and industrialists is there in domestically, it will only create corruption and channel to create black money and fleece the money of the country. Yes. Ultimately, first what we have done is our fiscal parameters have been consolidated. We have completely eliminated the nexus of crony capitalism. If you see, we have brought transparency in natural resource allocation. We have brought a power surplus situation in the country. Unless you create those domestical conditions which are conducive to the economic development and simply open up FDI and allow other companies, foreign companies to fleece our domestic industries, that is not the situation at present. You see the parameter are changed. There was large scale corruption. We have completely eliminated that corruption. The first requirement of opening up of economy is remove corruption and remove the nexus of bureaucracy, politician and businessmen domestically, then allow foreign companies. We have created ease of doing business for domestic industry. We are creating Mudra Bank, stand up, startup loan facility for domestic industry. We have created first large scale infrastructure for our domestic people industry. We have created demand from the public spending, PSU investments. We have created demand for domestic markets. We are creating a national market on e-market through agriculture, NAM. All these go together to create a infrastructure which is now helpful in conducing the opening of our economy.
Okay.
See, there is no corruption charge in last 2 years. Anybody with corruption charges and the
point well taken, Gopal. I have taken your point.
Bureaucrats and politicians.
Gopal, I have taken your point.
We should open economy?
We will move towards the closing comments. We'll start with Ashutosh, move to Mohammed, and Gopal, you can close. So let's start with Ashutosh. What will be your closing remark?
No, we need foreign investment, foreign direct investment. There are no two thoughts about that. But it should come on our own terms, and it should not be a case where our interests are put and where issues are timed rather by American or MNCs. It should be on our terms, and it should be focused in manufacturing.
Okay, basically,
as I said, we haven't been getting money in manufacturing. It has been going more in computer hardware, software and trading.
Point well taken. I'll go across to Mohammed and then Gopal can close after that.
तरुण, I'll only say this कि यूएस की दोस्ती की भावनाओं में इतना बहन आ जाए कि हम भूल जाएं कि हमारे देश के लिए क्या चीज़ें प्राथमिकता रखती हैं. What is important for us should always be prioritized. The nation must come first. You're right, no one will oppose opening up the economy, but do so in a thoughtful manner. I did not, Gopal Krishna ji was trying to explain to us exactly how the policy works. Respectfully, with the greatest of respect for him, I have not understood a single word of what he has said and how this will benefit India. I think he truly believes this is good for India. I don't think that the people of India will believe that either of these policies are good or well intended.
Okay, Gopal, your closing comments. The stock markets today have given you a thumbs up. But anyways, what were your closing comments for the day?
I agree that if FDI has to come, it has to come at our terms and our requirement. And I think that present juncture, it is beneficial. Opening up of FDI is beneficial to the economy and to the job creation and to make in India concept of manufacturing, increasing the manufacturing contribution to GDP.
Okay.
So therefore, this is beneficial. At point of, if at later stage we find that this is not beneficial, we will change.
Okay,
we are not a
totally out of time, Gopal.
government which is static. We are
continuously this in some other day, in some other debate. But so to say, the government has a very challenging task of job generation of 1 million jobs a month. Don't know if that's possible, but the government is on track of opening the economy. We will see what kind of investments come and the manufacturing rate goes up in the country. Thank you so much for joining us on this debate today.